Hey book friends, what's up? How's it going? We are going to try a video with my glasses on today because I feel like I take them on and off constantly. You know, the nature of the way life is when you're my age. And I take them off constantly to read on my phone when I talk to you about different things in the video. I have these glasses and they are the type where you can, like the bifocal ones where you can look down and it's reading glasses and I can look straight and it's normal, but I feel like it's glary, not on my end obviously, but on your end. So I'm gonna try it, see if it works. If I don't like how it looks, just ignore it and I'll go back to the other way in other videos, but I thought it was worth a try. The book we're going to talk about today is Tennessee Truths by Ashley Munoz. I have read all of Ashley's books. I adore her writing so much. Her first book was Glimmer, which was a single dad kind of romance, and oh my gosh, I had never read one like that before. I don't know where I was in my reading life that I hadn't, but Jimmy and Ramsey were everything, and I love that genre now, and I don't read enough of it, and I need to. So if you've got good single dad romances, give me some recommendations in the comments below. I would love to hear them. This book, Tennessee Truths, is I think classified as a small town bully type romance. I don't know if I've read many bully romances. You know, I'm terrible in that I don't really pay attention to those markers. I know that I see them when the authors talk about them, or maybe when I look the book up on Amazon, but I don't really pay attention to that stuff. But I know sometimes you guys want to hear that, so I do try to include it when I know what the genre is. Small town, sign me up. I mean, who doesn't love a small town story? And bully, I know I've read at least one other, then this one. I don't like when they're mean. So bully automatically makes me feel like people are mean. I'm too sensitive for that. And oh my gosh, this book was just pulling on my heart so much. Oh my gosh. So Tennessee Truths is about Faith and Jace. Faith and Jace met in their tween years, and Jace was, and he even says this in the book, that he was the guy that would like try and trip her on the playground, and that's how he tried to show her that he liked her. I kind of feel like that's ridiculous in this day and age, but I do actually remember there was a boy in the neighborhood I grew up in, and he was so cute, and he was older, and everyone thought he was so cute. I remember specifically that he pushed me off my bike, literally, and I can remember telling my mom and her being like, oh, he just likes you. That's just the way boys are sometimes. And I think to myself, that's a terrible thing to say. And I hope to God I never said that to my daughters. I also do love a reformed bad boy, and Jace was like that in this book. We'll get to that part later. The book starts where Faith is leaving her abusive husband. So you kind of wonder, you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that didn't work out with Jace. She goes back home to where they're from, and we find out that she had married the most eligible bachelor in Nashville. I wondered why she married him. I didn't know what brought her to Nashville. I had all of those questions running through my head. I really liked Faith. I connected with her right away. Something I really connected with her was the relationship that she had with her mom. She's an only child. She's got a pretty good relationship with her dad, we think, but yet it's strained with her mom. And she talks about how she kind of wished she had a mom that looked out for her and supported her more. Her mom is loving in her own way, but it's stilted. And I understood that. Jace was hard for me. I'm going to admit it. There were so many things about him that helped me understand him by the end of the book. He had a tough life. But yet the way he started with her and how they finally ended up dating in high school, I can get my head around that. But I wanted to know why he was the way he was with her. The book is 5 years later, And so it's 5 years from the time they turn 18 to what the present day is for them is 5 years later. Did that make sense? I hope it did. Anyway, we know that she's married to somebody else, and we know that he's had a really hard time. He's trying to live his life the best way he can, but he also has had a really rough go of it. I wanted to know why they broke up. I wanted to know why they weren't together. I wanted to know why he was such a jerk. You know, I talked about this in my previous video that I'm a sensitive person, and I really do try to figure out certain characters. It generally happens to be the male characters. I like to get to know how they tick and why they are the way they are. That the female characters are easy for me to connect to for the most part. Faith was easy for me to connect to. Jace, I didn't understand him, but I really wanted to, and I wanted to know why he was angry, he was mean, he was rough, and I really wanted to know why he was that way. Ashley didn't make us wait long till they ran into each other again. She goes to a party that her mom basically drags her to, and it's an engagement party for a girl that's like her age. And the whole town's going to be there. And she goes, and she's always been kind of an outsider. People didn't understand. She was the quiet girl. Jace was the, real gregarious, hot guy in high school. She was the quiet one. The girls didn't really understand why he would go for her. So she feels out of place immediately, and they're all taking pictures, they're all whispering, they all know that it's going to be like a big, like, oh, he's here and she's here, and it just killed me for her on those pages when she was at the party. And so they run into each other, and it's like, I felt it in my heart and my stomach just twisted. Faith says, I had always imagined what it would be like to see Jace Walker again, and hiding a black eye I'd gotten from my husband and operating on a steady diet of Oreos wasn't the way I thought it would go down. Girl. Ugh, so sad. Jace, of course, wasn't very nice to her when they have an interaction, and the way he treated her called to every single broken heart I have ever experienced in my life. I wanted to put bubble wrap around Faith. Don't get me wrong, the girl can stand on her own. She's smart. She just made some bad decisions because she was brokenhearted, but she's a smart girl. She left her husband. She's getting her feet underneath herself again. She's going to figure out who she is as a person at her young age, knowing what she's gone through. She has goals, but when he treated her the way he did in their first interaction when they see each other again, oh my God. I wanted to punch him. Jace is so angry. I thought Ashley wrote him so well because I was so annoyed by him. And I don't know if annoyed is the right word, but I could sense his hurt. I figured out that that's where a lot of his lashing out came from. And there were so many moments where it just was like a neon sign yelling at me that it was hurt at the basis of his actions. But yet we didn't know yet why he made the decisions he did. And there's a lot that we needed to uncover. But I highlighted some passages that really, like I said, were like neon signs for me. The first one is Jace talking. You're being an idiot, Faith, and if I were your husband, it just slipped out. F. It had slipped out, and now my face was on fire. Her face turned to slits. Well, you're not my husband, and I'm not your problem, so leave me the F alone. And for the record, I'm not interested in going anywhere with someone who throws away relationships and people like they're garbage. Her blonde hair shifted as she turned away from me. I sidestepped, blocking her. And I'm not interested in desperate gold-digging women who cheat on their husbands. Have a nice life. I turned on my heel, taking the last word with me. I patted my leg for Trevor to follow as I finished pumping the gas, opened my door, and let him jump in. I drove away, flooring it and leaving her in another cloud of exhaust. My heart raced, nearly ready to burst out of my chest entirely. I should have known she'd turn me down, should have seen it coming, but I'd stupidly gone for it. It was a mistake I wouldn't make again. They have this really dramatic push and pull between them, but they just couldn't find themselves in the right frame of mind for each other, for forgiveness and openness, to even have a discussion. Oh my God, it killed me. This one's from Faith. You don't get to talk about the old Faith. I shoved a finger into his chest, pushing him backward. You left her, broke her, and ruined her. You don't get an opinion on who she is now, especially after the other night at the gas station. With the little room I had from shoving him, I turned and got into my car, pulling the door shut. He stood there with no emotion on his face, as if my words and touch were as effective as a warm breeze on an already blazing hot day. I swallowed the thick lump of frustration in my throat and started the car. Thankfully, it turned over with ease. Oh my gosh, see, they are so hurt by each other. And there were times in this book I wondered, I kind of just wanted her to move on from him, but I knew that wasn't how the story was going to go. But they were both so hurt. How could two people, even though they were young, love each other in the way that they loved each other and seem so right for each other, and to hurt each other and move on from each other, but then be thrust back to one another? Oh my God, I did not know how this was going to turn out. I have started to highlight words that authors have used or things that I don't know that I need to go back and look up. And I have to say, I had to laugh a little bit because Jace lives in a fifth wheel next to the trailer that he grew up in. And I didn't know what a fifth wheel was. I had to actually look it up. Now, when I looked it up and I saw the image, I, of course, knew exactly what it was. I don't think I've actually been in one, but I knew exactly what it was, but I had no idea that it was called a fifth wheel. I love being able to learn a new word or a new term or about something in books. Slowly but surely, I came around to Jace. I started to understand why he lashed out so much. Well, maybe I should say, no, I don't want to say I understood him. I understood where it came from, I guess I should say. And he said something that was the pivotal moment for me. He says, I just wanted her to be okay, and for the first time since letting her go, I realized she might be as broken as me. I was like, finally, oh my God, here it is. Because I really, like I said, didn't know if I was gonna end up liking Jace. But I did. Thank goodness, I really, really did. Once Jace started to come around, that is where the gravy of this book was for me. I felt like I waited a while. But Ashley wrote such a great story. This was like the icing on the cake for me with Jace. He says to Faith, I fear you. And it made perfect sense. Him admitting his fear. We are all afraid. We all have our hearts broken. When you fall in love with someone, whether it's on the pages or in real life, you hand them your heart to do with what they're gonna do, and you have no control over that whatsoever. So when he said that, I was like, yep, now I get him. Now I understand him fully. Let me know if you have read Tennessee Truths in the comments below. I would definitely recommend it. Don't forget, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red box below that says subscribe. I so appreciate you hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.